So, you've done your homework. You chose an accumulating ETF, you picked a UCITS fund, you avoided the dividend tax trap. You thought you were done. And then you found out there are more taxes. Taxes that apply even to accumulating ETFs. Taxes that most investors never see coming. Today, I want to share what I discovered when I started digging deeper. Welcome back. I'm Ingrid, 60. I live in Belgium, and this channel is about building a real retirement plan as a European investor based on facts, not American content that doesn't apply to us. Last week, I talked about why dividend investing strategies from the US don't work in Europe, and what I found out about accumulating ETFs instead. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it in the description. Quick note for UK viewers, your tax system is fundamentally different. It's ISA-based, not country by country, like continental Europe, but I'm planning a dedicated video on UK ETF taxation, so subscribe to catch that. For the rest of you, let me share what I found. When I first discovered accumulating ETFs, my reaction was, brilliant! I invest, it grows, I only pay taxes when I sell. Simple. And in many cases, that's largely true. But I quickly found that largely is doing a lot of work in that sentence. The reality is that most European countries have found their own way of taxing investment growth, even inside accumulating structures. The names are different, the rates are different, but the result is the same. Your money gets touched at some point, either during the holding period or at the sale, or both. Here's what I found out, country by country. Let's start with Germany. It's called the Vorabpauschale, an advanced lump sum tax. Each January, the German tax authority calculates a theoretical minimum return on your ETF and taxes it, even if you didn't sell anything. When I first read this, I thought, that's like a landlord charging rent for a house you haven't moved into yet. But here's the nuance. If your ETF actually fell in value, the Vorabpauschale is zero. It's capped at the actual gain. There's also an annual allowance, €1,000 for individuals and €2,000 for couples, that you submit to your broker. Now, the Netherlands, Box 3, is a system for taxing savings and investments there. In December 2021, the Dutch Supreme Court ruled the old system unconstitutional. People were being taxed on gains that never happened. Since then, it's been in transition. For 2022 to 2026, a temporary system applies. If your actual returns are lower, you can declare that, and the tax authority uses the more favorable number. But the direction is clear. Taxation is moving higher. How exactly that will look after 2027 is still being debated. If you're a Dutch investor, this is a story worth following closely. I'm planning a full deep dive video on Box 3 specifically, the history, the 2028 proposals, and what it means for your portfolio. Subscribe so you don't miss it. France uses a flat tax of 30% on investment income and capital gains payable when you sell. Spain taxes capital gains progressively from 19% up to 28%, depending on the gain size, also payable on sale. Both have tax-advantaged accounts worth exploring. France's PEA, in particular, is useful for long-term ETF investors. Thought I'd encourage anyone investing there to verify the specifics with someone who knows local tax law. Now, Belgium, where I invest. Belgium has two relevant taxes for ETF investors. The first is the Reinders tax, a 30% tax on the interest component of mixed or bond funds. It applies to funds that hold bonds alongside equities. The second is new. As of the 1st of January 2026, Belgium introduced a 10% capital gains tax on financial assets, including ETFs, stocks, bonds, crypto, and others. Here's what I found. The tax only applies to gains realized after the 1st of January 2026. The reference point is your portfolio's closing value on the 31st December of 2025. That's actually the new cost base. Everything built before stays untaxed. There's an annual exemption of €10,000 per person. Gains below that each year are completely tax-free. After going all of this, I find myself asking some basic questions about my own portfolio. The first, is my ETF distributing or accumulating? One letter in the fund name determines whether you trigger a taxable event every year or defer it. The second, where is my fund domiciled? Ireland and Luxembourg came up consistently. It matters for how dividends are handled inside the fund before reinvestment, especially for reducing US withholding drag. The third, what is my country's annual exemption and am I using it? Germany's €1,000 has to be actively submitted. Belgium's €10,000 capital gains tax exemption has to be claimed in your tax return. These don't happen automatically. I'm still learning. For the tax-specific details, speaking to someone who knows your country's rules is generally worth it. What I can offer is the questions I ask. What you do with them is totally up to you. Here's what I've come to understand. Investing as a European is more layered than YouTube suggests. The rules are different in every country, and they're changing. But the more I learn, the less overwhelming it feels. And that's what this channel is for. Not to tell you what to do, but to share what I've discovered and the questions that help me think more clearly. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a 60-year-old in Belgium figuring this out one step at a time. If this was useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And if you're Dutch and want the full story on Box 3's upcoming video dedicated to that, please let me know. See you next week.